number 5, it is the Westby 3-year-old handicap over the 1400 metres. 9 runners to take a look at here, and the one question is, can they beat Martini? She's been very impressive. 4 starts for 3 victories. Those 3 victories have all come in a row. One last start by 1.3 lengths over Forever Diamonds, which won at Northam on Monday. Jumped as a $1.45 favourite and did it with ease as well, just showing those form lines are certainly strong enough. Aaron Mitchell keeps the ride. Let's take a look at the victory from last start.
Home straight, the leader. On the outside is Le Patron, who's under pressure. Then 2 lengths Uptown Funk, Forever Diamonds and Spirit Bird headed the remainder with Massachusetts. At the 200, Martini shaken up from Le Patron. Here's Forever Diamond starting to pick up late, but Martini with 100 to go, still clear. A length and a half, Forever Diamonds trying to bridge the margin, but it's all the way for Martini.
A really good run there by Martini over the 1200 metres, which is a distance that she doesn't really enjoy. She wants the 14 and higher as she gets here. Probably that 16 to 1700 metres is ideal. She looks really hard to beat with a 3 kilo claim to Mitchell, carrying just the 56 kilos again. I think she should just get the job done here. But outside of those numbers, let's take a look at some others. The Cobbler, really impressive run last start. Came out of the trial, which it beat Dark Love by half length, which will be racing earlier on in the day, and then won by a short neck over Loopy's Ladies. Stretches out to the 1400 metres. Stephen Miller mentioned after the run that it certainly attacked the line strong enough to do that, so it'll be interesting to see if this horse can make it back-to-back performances like that. Sealed with a Kiss comes out of a dead heater with Key to Fame, a really good run. This horse just does everything right, and that's a positive here for Dan Morton, but it has drawn out wide. Had barriers 9 and 8 first, and then jumped from 3 last start where it got the ideal run. Goes back out to 9 here, but if it can settle and find a nice spot, it is one to certainly take note of as well. Spirit Bird attacked the line strongly last start behind Martini. Was beaten 2.3 lengths, gets to the 1400 metres here now, which is a massive positive. Sean O'Donnell to ride, drawn nicely in barrier 4 as well. I think this horse will improve. An Incoming Tide, number 8, William Pike to take the ride, beaten 2.8 lengths by Martini. Carried just the 53.5 there, so goes up half a kilo, but William Pike riding, I think he can certainly get the best out of Incoming Tide, which at times she's shown that she's got a little bit of potential. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going to be tipping number 1, Martini, from number 6, Spirit Bird, number 2, the Cobbler, and number 8, Incoming Tide. Race number 6 at Belmont Park. It is over the 2200 metres and was scheduled to get away at 4:35. And we've got a few horses that would certainly enjoy a win. I speak of the likes of Shoot for Glory, which hasn't won for 629 days. Kansas has been there and abouts, was 3rd last start. So Extreme has had 2 recent narrow defeats by a nose and a head in its recent run, so would love to get a victory there, and a few others as well that have been knocking on the door for a while but haven't quite saluted. The replay that we're going to take a look at is So Extreme, as I mentioned, have been so consistent in recent runs. Just went down last start to state form. Let's take a look at that run now.
Tunis here at the top of the straight. Magic Nino behind those, starting to pick up. Followed further back, Usual Suspect. Black Cobra in front narrowly from Freeloader, who's gone right out to the middle of the track. They're followed by Not a Way to Go. Magic Nino running on as well. 200 left to run though. Freeloader ducked in. Might have just taken the running of Magic Nino, and Black Chair getting up near the inside. Freeloader the leader. On the outside, Magic Nino. Freeloader digs in from Magic Nino. Freeloader wins it. Freeloader by a head.
Really good performance by So Extreme. She's an honest type. She doesn't have a huge turn of foot, but she'll plug away all the way to the line. The jockeys have to go a little bit earlier on her, but she does respond, and she is a true stayer. And from those form lines that we talk about with Top of the Wazza and also State Form, has to stay in your mix and be in your top 4 for this run. Ahmed up the top for Chris Stelmat, Patrick Carberry to ride. A winner 3 starts ago, has then been beaten by Galaxy Sun its last 2 runs over the 1650. Stretches out now to the 2200 metres. It has won over the 2000 metres before, has had 2 attempts at this distance replacing as well, so I think Ahmed can certainly return to some of its best form. Shoot for Glory, well, this campaign just hasn't quite gone to plan for this horse. It was beaten 3 lengths last out by Vidello Blue. Just had too much conditioning still, needed the run, should be fitter for that. Does go up 4 kilos, which is a negative, but again, if it's at its best, this horse can certainly win this. It is a Saturday type and can run in these country cups as well. So if it's fit and improved from that last run, I think it's one that you might get a little bit of value. Number 3, Kansas. William Pike returns on this horse, which is a big positive. If you go through its runs in a 56 to 68 at Ascot when Mitchell Pateman rode with 57, it was just beaten 1 length by Go Tiger. It was then followed up at just beaten by Miss Yolana, which is a very good type. Then followed up at last start with William Pike riding, beaten 1.5 lengths in that So Extreme race as well, and came from well back back. On that occasion, drew barrier 12, draws barrier 1 here, a huge positive. I think Kansas is certainly the one to beat. Let's take a look at selections. I am tipping number 3 Kansas, from number 6 So Extreme, number 9 Son of a Preacher with Lucy Warwick to ride, and number 7 Friars Luck. Race number 7 at Belmont Park. It is over the 1400 metres and scheduled to commence at 5:10. An interesting race to take a look at here, because with the rail out the 12 metres, there's a few that have plenty of speed, like the Carnup Kid, which can certainly roll to the front and stretch his field out. And then a lot that have been in form, and I mentioned the likes of a Little Shadow, which has now won its past 2 runs, but they do get back and run on, and whether they're going to get that opportunity, we'll have to wait and see at Belmont Park. The replay that we're going to take a look at is that horse I just mentioned there, Little Shadow, has won its last 2, has been in really good form in recent times. Let's take a look at that victory now.
That's a long way back in the field, rumourified, and then next to last is My Magic Miss. At the 300, they'd balanced up Idealist, tackled by Mixed Tip and Phantom Choice down the outside with the Blaze and Believe You Can. And here's Little Shadow. She's starting to thread the eye of the needle, coming quickly in the middle. Little Shadow bursts through in the centre to go to Phantom Choice. Paddy's flat runs on well, but Little Shadow coming through the middle of the field to win.
So another good performance there by Little Shadow. Now steps up to a 60-72 ratings race, 57 kilos. It gets harder for this horse, but it continues to attack the line strongly. As I said, it'll just be a question of how far back it gets and how much distance it has to make up. Lauren Dean was a really good run at last start. Jake Casey keeps the ride. This horse stepped up to the 1400 metres for the first time and won by nose. They draw barrier 10 here, which isn't ideal, and will certainly need to put in another good performance. Angel Sky finished second last start, was scratched from Northam on Monday to run in this race. Was beaten only a long neck, was a winner at Belmont first up over the 1200 metres. William Pike, barrier 2, the 57.5 kilos. I still think this is a classy horse in the field, and if at her best, she should be pretty hard to beat. Number 7, Zoe Tom Taylor, for me, returned to form last start. Finished second behind Pins Perhaps, just went down by a long head. That was over the 1650. I think the 1400 metres is ideal here. Peter Hall takes a ride. Barrier 1, the 57 kilos. I think she can be certainly very hard to beat. She just showed last start that she had that fight and determination back, which is exactly what you want to see if you're backing her. And number 9, the Carnup Kid, as I mentioned, can certainly be the leader. In recent runs, has just gone straight to the front and stretched him out. Was a really good winner at Pinjarra back on the 2nd of July. Last start, got out quite awkwardly and had to settle midfield and then attacked the line strongly, which we hadn't seen before. Only went down by head to Lauren Dean. Sean O'Donnell takes the ride, so it loses the claim here of Jordan Turner. But I think this horse, if it can jump quickly and get in front, it'll be pretty hard to chase her throughout the remaining stages of the 1400 metre race. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going to be tipping number 7, Zoe Tom Taylor. From number 4, Angel Sky. Number 9, the Carnup Kid. And number 8, Despara. The final race of the day at Belmont Park is the Amelia Park Handicap over the 1400 metres. It's scheduled to commence at 5:45. Rare Delight, a horse that's been in pretty good form. A winner 2 starts to go, just lost by 1.5 lengths on Saturday Company. Gets a claim of Jordan Turner. Looks very hard to beat in this race. Towers of Summer gets a 3 kilo claim as well to Aaron Mitchell. Common Approach goes back up to the 1400 metres. More Champers, which is impressive, finishing second last start, and a maiden behind Imperious, which we know has raced well since. There certainly looks to be one to take note of. And My Magic Miss is another horse that attacks the line strongly. The replay that we're going to take a look at is More Champers. Has finished second in its last 2 starts, only beaten ahead last start. Let's take a look at that run now.
And then Vital Shots coming into the home straight at the 300 Commercial Street, joined by Parle Verde. Bonsignor runs on, so does More Champers. At the 200, More Champers, Bonsignor together from Parle Verde. Imperious further back running on, and then came Black for Me. More Champers, Bonsignor and Imperious gathering them all up. Imperious hits the lead in the last stride.
Really good performance here by More Champers. Finished second the start before that as well. Drops from the 16 down to the 14, and that'll be the interesting part here, whether this horse does enjoy that. It is a horse that gets back, so how far back it'll get is the question mark in a race like this. A horse that we know will roll forward, and I think the 3 kilo claim is a massive plus here, is number 4, Towers of Summer. Drew barrier 9 first up with the 59 kilos and was only beaten a length over the 1200 metres. Now goes to barrier 1, carries us to 56 and stretches out to the 1400 metres. I think there's a few positives here for Tales of Summer, and it's going to be very hard to beat. Number 2, Rare Delight, as I mentioned, was a winner 2 starting to go at Pinjarra, beat Jolly Moss by nose. Last start was only beaten 1.5 lengths by Missoula. Gets a claim to Jordan Turner, so just the 57 kilos here and drops back to Wednesday Company, which certainly I think makes this horse hard to beat. And outside of that as well, My Magic Miss, I mentioned this in the preview, was a winner winner at Pinjarra 2 starts ago, only beaten a half length by Little Shadow last start, was back in 13th approaching the top of the straight and ran on strongly. Had barrier 11 on that occasion, now jumps from barrier 4, so expecting a fair bit of improvement here from My Magic Miss. Let's take a look at selections for the last race of the day, and I'm going to be going with number 4, Towers of Summer, from number 2, Rare Delight, number 6, More Champers, and number 8, My Magic Miss. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of Box C, so it's time now to take a look at the best bets, and I'm going to be tipping race 5, number 1, Martini. I think this is a lock of the day. The horse you can put in the multis. You won't get much of a price, but I think our Singapore punters will certainly enjoy backing her. And then race 6, number 3, Kansas, over the 2,200 metres. William Pike, a huge positive. Barrier 12 into barrier 1 for this start from last start, and only went down by 1.5 lengths. I think Kansas would be very hard to beat as well. Make sure you do follow us on social media at Perth Racing on Twitter, Perth Racing on Facebook and Instagram, and go to our website, perthracing.com.au. Of course, we are almost going back to Ascot, so there are plenty of packages up there at the moment, plenty of great events that you should attend, and you can take note of all of them now on the website as well. I'm Adam McGrath. Hopefully found you a couple of winners for Wednesday. We'll be back again with another edition of Box Seat on Saturday.